My friends, the times they are a-changing. Nowadays, children's cartoon characters just aren't good enough unless they can speak several different languages, the Cookie Monster has been reduced to a vegetable-guzzling abomination, and worst of all, rough-and-tumble games like Standing There are banned because some stupid kid broke his neck doing it. Now we all have to suffer. This is why the CPC gave me so many fond memories during my childhood. See, when I were a lad, we didn't care what we saw in our video games. The programmers must have known they were giving out bad signals, but if they did, they really didn't care. One such purveyor of bad manners is fast food, which was served up by Codemasters and the Oliver twins in 1989. Now, fast food is a game in the style of Pac-Man. That is, you're placed on a single-screen maze, and you have to collect everything within that maze while avoiding up to 4 enemies. Once you've collected everything, you move on to the next screen where the process repeats itself, and so on until you complete the game. However, this game is more than just another Pac-Man knockoff. There are several differences that set it apart from its source material. First of all, fast food has 30 different levels, which is a significant advantage over Pac-Man, who only had 1 level. Second, rather than eating row after row after row of dots, fast food has you hunting down 8 or 9 items of food. Third, most of the collectible items in the game move around the map, which means you have to plan your routes very carefully or else get boxed in by the enemies. Now originally, fast food was going to be released to promote the restaurant chain Happy Eater, but then the Oliver twins realised that Happy Eater it's just awful. It's so bad that I cannot explain it using my command of the English language. I've had to invent a new word to explain the sheer level of torment you subject yourself to when you go to Happy Eater. It is simply Fnagen. Anyway, the Happy Eater deal fell through, so the Olivers slapped their own character on the game and released it anyway. And why not? When you work for 3 long, labour-intensive days on making a video game, you get it out into the market, you don't trash it. Thus, the main character in the game is Dizzy the Egg. Now, Dizzy was the unofficial mascot for the CPC, and I'll talk about him some more in some of the upcoming videos, but for now, all you really need to know is that you controlled an egg who wore boxing gloves. In the original games, the core games they're called, Dizzy was a MacGyver character of sorts. No matter what situation you put him in, he'd find some way of hacking things together to win through. But this is not a core game, this is an arcade spin-off title, which means Dizzy has the mental capacity of a Big Brother contestant, and all he can do is run around flailing his arms wildly. Presumably he'd be squealing if the audio technology was up to it. Thank heavens it wasn't. He's not completely unarmed, however. During gameplay, you'll find certain items designed to help you, which appear in the form of condiments and shields. You can probably see them running around the screen at certain points in the video there. Each item has its own function, such as Relish, which stops the enemies in their tracks, and the almighty Ketchup, which destroys everything on the screen. It's also possible to pick up jars of mayonnaise, which appear pretty rarely. The mayo slows the enemies to a crawl, which... Mayonnaise is made out of eggs, isn't it? The ultimate power-up is made out of people. Man, they even made the jar green and everything. Oh, Dizzy, when will your wrath end? Anyway, in addition to the power-ups, there are also 1 or 2 items that are designed to hinder your progress. If you collect a pair of red arrows, Dizzy will slow down to half his normal speed. But with that said, the arrows slow down the enemies as well, so it's really more of an inconvenience than anything else. Still, it's probably best not to pick up the arrows, and the game runs slow enough as is, it doesn't really need your encouragement. In my mind, the main problem with the game is that of timing. Since the food moves around the level, it's often a matter of luck when it comes to picking up the food and outrunning the enemies. Pac-Man allowed you to see where everything was at a single glance, which made it easier to plan your route, but in fast food you have to look at where the food will be or might be, and you have to plan accordingly. Still, the learning curve is very, very nice, and the game doesn't get too hard too quickly. In fact, even the last level is easy as pie when you work out the trick to completing it. And what happens when you complete all 30 levels, I hear you ask? Why, you play them all over again, only this time they're flipped upside down. Now at this point, I got absolutely frustrated with the controls, to the point that I threw the joystick so hard it smashed through time like that one episode of Superman, so I have absolutely no idea what happens when you complete the flipped upside down levels. Let's just assume that the universe will instantly collapse, and be replaced with something even more bizarre and inexplicable. Again. Like I say, the game really appealed to me as a child, but there's no denying this could be because it had some novelties that a lot of my other games didn't. One of the things that captivated me the most was the fact that the title screen spoke to you. Whenever you loaded a new game, it would shout fast food. And, I mean, that may sound cheesy to you, but it required all of the console's resources, and it was a major feat of programming back in the day. Second, the game had a built-in cheat code that didn't require unlocking. There's no buttons, there's no codes, there's no game genie, nothing. Whenever you start a new game, you are asked what level you want to begin on. And as a child, that was a godsend. I could skip over the hard levels, I could miss all the things that I couldn't do, I could go straight to the game's finale if I wanted to. And finally, I liked that the game wasn't static. There are 3 styles of level: the hedge maze, the streets, and the burger bar, and the 3 skins cycle when you go to a new level. You can see it in the video here. As a bonus, if you decide to start on a level other than level 1, you'd see the levels you were familiar with, but in a different style each time, because, the skins started their cycle anew. As for today, I still enjoy playing fast food if I've got 5-10 minutes with nothing better to do. And you may enjoy it yourself if you can find a copy, so, give it a shot. I think you'll enjoy it. So until next time, goodbye.